The Human Rights Council encouraged the High Commissioner to update it on the situation of human rights in Afghanistan.
As more Afghans struggle to meet their basic needs, people in vulnerable situations, notably women-headed households and children, are being pushed to take desperate measures, including child labor, the marriage of children to ensure their survival, and, according to some reports, even the sale of children.
In the note verbal from the Secretariat circulated yesterday,
this situation is compounded by the impact of sanctions and the freezing of state assets. The difficult policy choices that member states make at this critical juncture to avert economic collapse are literally life and death. They will define Afghanistan's pathway into the future.
For her presentation and presence today, the Council will convene today.
We are also alarmed by continuing reports of extrajudicial killings across the country, despite the general amnesty announced by the Taliban after 15 August. Between August and November, we received credible allegations of more than 100 killings of former Afghan national security forces and others associated with the former government, with at least 72 of these killings attributed to the Taliban. In several cases, the bodies were publicly displayed.
No interactive dialogue has been mandated for this oral update.
I am deeply concerned about the continued risk of recruitment of children by the ISIL-KP, as well as by the de facto authorities, with boys increasingly visible among security forces at checkpoints, as bodyguards, and in combat roles. Children also continue to comprise nearly all of the civilians killed and injured by unexploded ordnance. Women and girls in particular face great uncertainty with respect to the rights to education, to livelihoods, and to participation, in which they had made important gains over the past 2 decades. The High Commissioner and I are deeply affected by the increased reports that we receive of women victims of violence who are unable to seek safety and justice. Women's protection shelters in Afghanistan have been closed, and most incidents of violence and harmful practices against women and girls will increasingly go unreported or left to be resolved through traditional dispute resolution mechanisms. The United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, UNAMA, has documented 59 apparently arbitrary detentions, beatings, and threats of civil society activists, journalists, and staff of the Afghanistan Independent Human Rights Commission attributed to the de facto authorities. The safety of Afghan judges, prosecutors, and lawyers, particularly women legal professionals, is a matter for particular alarm. Many are currently in hiding for fear of retribution, including from convicted prisoners who were freed by the de facto authorities, notably men convicted of gender-based violence. We engaged directly and constructively with the de facto authorities to advocate on critical issues and offer the appropriate advice. We are encouraged by these initial contacts. It is vital that Council members support the continuation of our UN human rights presence on the ground and its important human rights work at this crucial juncture for the people of Afghanistan.